So I'm hearing about Nigel Farage, yet again I should say, getting rid of anybody who's a threat to his position. Nigel Farage has a huge ego, okay, and as they said, he has things skinned. Now, in the past, he campaigned to get us Brexit, and he got us Brexit. That, to his credit, thank you very much, for what it's worth, because it's Brexit in many cases in name only, but that's another thing. He ran UKIP into the red. He was a control freak. There were people, numerous people in UKIP that challenged him, that showed promise to be a great leader, and he managed to get rid of them. And then when obviously he decided he was not going to lead UKIP, and then put in a litany of other pillocks that weren't going to do anywhere near as good, they were useless feckwits, right? And then obviously Gerard Batten came along, doubled the amount of people who were members of UKIP, but then apparently they were all far right and he had a rubbish it. Then he starts another party, because don't forget, I've had a friend call him political contraceptive. There was another party he started up, which I believe was the Brexit party, and that was because UKIP were becoming far too powerful. So he had to try and fuck them off. Now every time something comes along that looks like it's going to be any good and it's not Nigel run, Nigel then tries to set something up to fuck that up. Now you've got reform. Now I've told you before, whether you like it or not, that he's a total globalist and he's paid opposition. But it seems to me that any time that some perhaps decent, honest potential politician comes along that shows some sort of charisma, acumen, genuineness, whatever, he has to crush them, get rid of them, ruin their name or whatever it is, to make sure that Nigel stays in charge. Everybody look at me, and Nigel makes the money. Well, now there may well be a split in reform. Now, I'm not a reform person, simply for the fact that the people that I've seen in the hierarchy there are ex-Goldman Sachs. That's globalism right there and then. And you want to look into who owns Goldman Sachs, right? And the other banking elites with them, right? Secondly, Nigel Farage bought, paid for globalist, paid opposition. So I didn't have a great deal of hope. And then you had that other toff there, Tice, who's leading it. And I just didn't have any great hope. But now they're on about fracturing this and starting yet again another right-leaning party. This will be more to the right than obviously the party that they've just been kicked out of reform. How right-wing that is, probably not right-wing enough. But all this does is dilute down the right-wing vote and basically gives Labour more power. So what do you think? Do you still think Nigel Farage is the way forward? Do you think that every right-wing party should come together and be led by one person? Obviously that'll never happen, right? But, you know, or do you think that politics as it stands is completely fucked, and that the way they've sorted out the election system is that the only people that will ever get in are the people that are bought and paid for, globalists, right, that will carry on doing the work of the evil and the depraved, the devil worshipping kind of fuckers, you know, the people that are trying to bring about the destruction of normality as we know it, and doing a great job. So let me know what you think in the comments. And then we've had two ships hit each other out in the North Sea, and they're still not ruling out it being not an accident as such. Can't remember the word now. Now, who was running it? Is it a case of lack of training? Is it a case of how do we put this? Diversity is our strength? Is it a case of, like we've had it before, let's give a woman the job? What could go wrong? You could ask the Navy that, or you could ask people that were wanting to get down the canal after the Evergreen went sideways, or you could, there's quite a few occasions. Now, I'm not saying all women are shit. I wouldn't dream of it, clearly. But, you know, the best person gets the job. And then you've obviously got the Liberals over in, I believe, France, that decided it would be nice to put on a, what do they call it, a theatre production for the immigrants. How do you think that went? Well, they didn't went, they stayed. And now they're squatting there. I think there's about 400 of them. And the neighbouring businesses around there look like they're going to go under for obvious reasons. Yet again, at the moment, the channel is flat out. We're importing these people wholesale. And what the thing is, that many left, right, centrist or whatever, they're all starting to work it out, right? That these people are not the same. They're very, very, very different in the way they think, the way they're put together, the way the morals or the lack of, their ethics, or yet again the lack of, and how they believe in law, etc. And what comes at the top. So obviously, when Allah's not looking, that is to say, one of their other mates aren't looking, then it's just do whatever you fucking want. When the police most of the time aren't looking, it's do whoever you want. And when the police are looking, it's do the person that's trying to tell me off. So there you go. So at the moment, because we've got so many of these breeders, fucking fighting age men, and because we've got also so many ugly Karens out there that couldn't get laid if they were in a morgue, right? Their only option is looking at, how should we say, opening their doors to an immigrant. And that's probably the only way they're going to get anything of male DNA anywhere near them. But there it is. Let's just do that a second because I'm busy. Yeah, but so we've got to build a lot more houses. I know this because I'm the one that's taking the muck away from these sites and putting it in a landfill or an old quarry, just so that they can build these houses. But they've come up with another, Labour's come up with another great idea, that what they're going to do now is start to seize farmers' fields for less than the actual worth of that fucking field, because the local government might choose that that particular area needs to be built on for the good of the community. What community? Okay. And since we're speaking about the good of the community, it's amazing how many work-shy useless cunts I see in brand new houses, right, with everything going from, right? I do. And for a working man who's tired the entire time, and incidentally, I've had all the bloods come back, and allegedly, if it's according to the Karen on the actual counter, everything so far is good. They haven't done, is it the liver function yet? That's on its way back, but can't see a problem. So I have to work. But when I see the work-shy getting away with it and just literally having more money because little Johnny's got this and that wrong with him because you've said he did, or whatever, you get the idea. But however, Labour have decided that there's far too many people out of work. Well, the Labour Party was actually put together in its beginning by a few Jewish brothers to try and actually bring about more rights to the working man. That was apparently what it was set up to do, right? And that would be better working conditions, better wages, okay, making sure you put the indigenous people first, all that kind of stuff, right? Sounds like a good idea, really, doesn't it? And it was. However, what Labour is now is something completely different. What it wants to do is cut back on benefits. But here's the thing. Who do you think they're going to cut back on the benefits to? Do you think they're going to cut back on the benefits to these people that are coming over the channel illegally? Or do you think they're going to cut back on the benefits to, say, for instance, the old, the infirm, the people who have worked all their life and their body is absolutely broken now and they can't actually do what they used to, so they need some help? Do you think they might do that for them? I don't think so myself. Anyway, we're coming up on an accident here and two lorries have hit each other and decided to go for a dance down the embankment, which isn't so good. But apparently both drivers are all right, so that's good. So yeah, what are you thinking at the moment? I mean, sometimes I just look at the news and I go, oh God. And it was like now, and I thought, have I got the energy to do this? Because I'm shagged out the whole time. But when you get started, it's quite nice to get it off your plate. I've got friends now. I've got lots of people who I consider to be liberals, fucking lefties or whatever else that have certainly caught on fast, very fast, right? And they're far more outspoken in some cases than I am. Mind you, this is what I warned about, isn't it? I did worry that when the left turn, they'll turn hard, but there it is. Anyway, let me know what you think, and I'll see you in a bit.